Yes, indeed, folks, it's the illusion of choice! Yeah, glass everywhere, it's dangerous, it's a health and safety hazard. It's a good job you're not in this studio, that I can tell you for a fact. Okay, let's have a look in the mailbag and see what we can find in that. And as I said before, after this, we're going over to tinyearl.com/shoutcraft2. That's tinyearl.com/shoutcraft2 for a special video feature. Now, last week, as you're well aware, we did the EverQuest 2 thing. Didn't work out quite so well. I had some technical issues. I replaced that in the archive with a new version. But now that my internet's fixed, I can give you a full video rundown. We're going to go play some DDO. I'm going to show you the game. I'm going to tell you why I'm actually currently playing it and not playing World of Warcraft. And give you an idea of the different features that it's got, as opposed to what WoW has right now. And perhaps why you should give it a try. Because yes, we do have a guild. It's called Cynical Brit. It is on the Argonesian server on the US side. And yes, DDO is free to play. So there you go. But yeah, head on over there. That's tinyearl.com/shoutcraft2. That's where we're going to be hanging around for the video feature. And I'll be giving you a warning as to when it's going to be happening towards the end of this particular segment. Okay. In the meantime, this is good. Let's go with this. Dear Mr. Total Biscuit, I've been thinking about how the badge system works at the moment and how it will be in the future with the hero and valor point system. I recently discussed with an old vanilla friend of mine about how the quality of epic and purple gear has dropped so much of late. Epic is the new rare, IMO. Well, absolutely it is, no doubt about that. Here's an idea. We all like the colour purple, especially back in vanilla, because it meant you did something that not all could do, aka raiding. But now with the new hero and valor systems being the same as badges all over again, everyone will have their tier 9 equivalent gear again in Cataclysm and all look the same. That might be unavoidable, but here's my suggestion to distinguish raiders from pants-on-head retarded heroic runners. Every time there's a points reset and a new tier of gear is made available, make the former valor, now hero items, rare in quality, i.e. blue. But valor items gained in the time they were bought for valor items stay epic quality. Don't reduce the stats or anything, adjust the colour of the item in question, since all players go to extreme measures to be unique in-game like myself, and this would separate the raider from the noob to some degree. What do you think, Total Biscuit? That is from Mutilitalis. Or is that Mutilatus? Yes, indeed. Sounds like some kind of dessert. I'll have a Mutilatus with some delicious chocolate cream. It's from the Lost Champer on Chapter. God, terrible. From Doomhammer EU. Okay, and apparently they also beat Putricide. Heroic Mode 25, congratulations. Okay, so, it's Epic Fever. Man, Epic Fever. It's a weird thing, isn't it? It's very odd. A lot of people don't really understand it, and I will be one of those. Epic Fever is a really odd thing. It's something that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and yet it happens anyway. Bizarre, isn't it? Very odd indeed. Why do people like epics? Well, back in the day, epics were indeed prestigious. Epics either came from really, really hard crafting, really hard quests, and I do mean really hard, I mean there were a few quests that did reward epics back in vanilla, or they came from raiding. Or later on, they came from high-end PvP, and that was indeed high-end PvP. No, back in the day, you remember that. Only Warlord and High Warlord gear was purple. Everything else was blue, as I recall. Someone feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly certain that only the last 2 tiers of the 14 ranks of PvP, was it 14 or 16, whatever, were actually purple. Odd, isn't it? But that's the case. That's exactly what it was. So, does it make a difference? Well, I think that the idea of, oh, let's get the epic purples has been ingrained in our mentality for a very long time. I have to wonder if it's ingrained in the mentality of people that are new to the game. I think that everyone aspires to be epic'd out. The problem is that I would have to agree with anyone that says that epics have been devalued. Because they have. They have absolutely, 110% been devalued. It's now down to item level and not what colour the actual item is. And you can't really blame people for that. Honestly. They still want the epics. But now it's down to, well, you know, my epic's better than your epic. It didn't used to be a case of, well, you know, you crossed that threshold and you now have epic items. And even if they're not quite as good as my epic items, they're still epic items, so you still got to afford a modicum of respect to people like that. now epics can be acquired almost anywhere. I bought an epic item for my wife, for instance, when she just dinged 80. I was like, here's something. You know how much it cost me? Couple hundred gold. It wasn't great. It was the Sash of Jordan, but it was better than what she'd got from leveling up. Then you've got items that you can acquire simply by running heroic dungeons. And there's epics at the end of dungeons which are mind-blowingly easy, like Violet Hold. Violet Hold drops epics on heroic mode. At the end, anyway. You've now got a set of instances that even on normal mode drop epics. That, of course, being the... God, it's literally gone out of my mind. Yes, I wanted to wipe it from my mind so very much. The ICC 5-mans, they all drop epics even on normal mode. It's crazy, isn't it? Think about that for a second. Getting an epic from a normal dungeon back in vanilla, that was really crazy. I remember some of them. Let's have a think. Oh, what did you get? What was that called? I can't remember. I'm sure I'll find it later, but you got stuff like the Headmaster's Charge, which has now, of course, been remade into an heirloom. A Headmaster's Charge was an epic item, and there was a robe as well, beginning with an A. I can't quite remember it, but it was fairly nicely styled. That was an epic item. The drop rate on it, really low. Crazy low. Let's go Wowhead and find out just how low that was, because if you turned around to someone right now and you said, well, to get an epic item in anything other than raids, you've got to get, say, a 2% drop rate. They would look at you like you were crazy. Headmaster's Charge. Drop rate, 2%. From Dark Master Gandling. 395 out of them, out of 19,139 recorded kills. It's crazy, isn't it? Think about that for a second. There used to be a time when that actually happened. There used to be a time when epic items were incredibly rare in non-raid content. Alana's Embrace, that was the robe, also in Scholarman's. Drop rate 1.7%. 379 out of 22,037 recorded kills. An item level 62. Amazing, isn't it? There were a lot of other things like that. There were a few epics available in Upper Blackrock Spire and things like that. You could also get epics from... Yeah, there was, I recall, maybe 1 or 2 epics available all the way from that huge instance. It's indeed Blackrock Depths. Under and around the Immortal Core. And back in those days, getting an epic was a big achievement. Getting an epic, more importantly, provided excitement. I remember when I got my first epic. My first epic. You want to know what it was? I'll tell you what it was. My first epic, ladies and gentlemen, was the Staff of Dominance. It didn't even have a unique model then. It was a Staff of Jordan with a purple glow. That's what I got. That was my first ever epic item. You know how proud I was? You know, I pranced around Orgrimmar with that thing. I'm like, I've got a Staff of Jordan. No, I don't have a Staff of Jordan. What am I talking about? I've got a Staff of Dominance. It looks like a Staff of Jordan, but it's actually a Staff of Dominance. Look at the purple thing. Yeah, Yep, it was so great. It felt so great. Getting epics was a big deal. Getting items now is not. I mean, you get people that hit level 80 and then instantly expect to be drowned in epics. As soon as they get there. Straight into heroics. Epics. There you go. I want. Give. I mean, for God's sake, you can be geared out in epics in under a week. A full set. Without a problem. And not just base level epics either. I mean, you're talking about tier 9. You know, as in 1 step below the current level of content. You can do that in a week. Trying to gear someone out in full epics back in vanilla? Yeah. No badges. Random drops across the board. For God's sake, some of it came off trash. If you wanted your braces, stuff like that, yeah, most of those tier 1 braces, they came from trash. The instance which was put in there, which was supposed to be below the level of Molten Core, most of that didn't even drop epics. The vast majority of items in there were blues. Let's just ignore the fact they were itemized better. They were blues. Because it was considered a lower level. If you wanted regular epics, you had to go to at least Molten Core. You had to gather 40 people and you had to earn that shiz, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you did. That's where the value of epics came from. It's a historical thing. There is a certain reverence for the colour purple in this game. That reverence came directly from vanilla. That reverence continued through vanilla. That reverence, I would say, even before that, came from Diablo, where that system first came into being. That colour has a certain, or at least had a certain respect. Now, why is that valuable, you might ask? It's valuable in the same way that anything that affects your character is valuable. There is a certain sentimental value to your character. You've invested a lot of time and a lot of money into developing your character. You want it to be the best it can be, and you want it to be respected. So you don't want to look like everybody else, and you don't want to have the same gear as everyone else, and you want to feel like you've earned every single drop of power that your character now possesses. And if you haven't done it, then you feel like your time has been wasted. Yes, indeed. That's why epic items matter. That's why epic items should indeed be made epic once again. And you know what? I would not say no to changing the colour. It might seem like nothing, but actually it's a whole lot more than that. It represents a level of respect for the content that you are doing. It represents, say, from Blizzard's end, that they respect you doing the content at the appropriate time. And that cast-offs and handouts and welfare epics should not indeed even exist. They should be welfare blues, and that's where they should go. That's the colour they should be. Because somebody geared out in epics deserves to be regarded as someone that has achieved something genuine. Not simply hammered their face across the keyboard, rolled and rolled and rolled again, and gathered the badges for gear they certainly did not deserve. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do some shout-outs here on Blue Police. Thank you for listening to the show. We are going to be going over to the video channel over at tinyurl.com/shoutcraft2 in just a few short minutes' time. If you listen to the podcast, this will be available as a video on demand, and it will be linked in the show notes on the archive on cynicalbird.com. So if you're hearing this on archive, that video is already available. Yes, indeed. We're going to move over there in just a few minutes. Get your shout-outs over to me via the chat room on cynicalbird.com, or you can send me an email if you so wish, or a tweet. Email themurloc@gmail.com, or alternatively send me a tweet that's at TotalBiscuit or at TotalBiscuit. Yes, indeed. Both of those are completely valid. Alternatively, you can send me a message over IRC if you're one of those Luddites who are still hanging around in there. So let's kick it off right here, shall we? A shout-out to Garrett, since the... Yes, we're not going to say that. Yes, apparently his wiener is now pimple-free. Congratulations, everyone. Round of applause. Yes, indeed. Very good. You freak. Yeah, shout out to OMG, the baby cakes. They are everywhere. So says Ollie, and that is his t-shirt. Ollie used to hang around in the store when I used to work my crappy retail job down in Leicester. Many, many years ago now. Yes, he made things a little bit more bearable. Shout out to me for having a fever. Do you indeed have an epic fever? Yes, I did just say. That's from Saracen. Yes, indeed. A shout out to Lil Rex for finishing my first trimester of chiropractic medicine. Well, there you go. Shout-out is so given. I don't know an awful lot about chiropractic medicine. I have no intention of finding out. I hear it's some kind of witchcraft. Yes, that's what I'm told. Yes. A shout-out to... And then it's blank. So I'm going to give a shout-out to Cathal McGovern, a.k.a. Mastroff, because, well, yeah, there you go. A shout-out to Hope and Despair, who gives a shout-out to me. No, you can have the shout-out. It's yours. I don't need any more. I've got plenty of my own. Thank you very much. Shout-outs coming in thick and fast via the channel right here. Yes, indeed. A shout-out to Caverin for being able to watch live for the first time still the podcast. First time. A shout-out to Pokemon and Malfurion for getting 80 and then quitting. A shout-out to Justin B. What a... Yes, indeed. Justin B. You are terrible. One of the worst people we've ever had in the channel. I think he's definitely a contender. He's in the running for worst channel occupant of 2010. The award is available, it is delicious, and I can tell you for a fact that you are the front runner right here. Yes, indeed. You go for it, son. I believe in you. A shout out to Star Weasels for working on LK25. That's from Tarniel. And a shout out to the Grey Wardens on Area 52 US. Love you guys. Hit 80 already. A shout out to the Latin American Guild Quantum on Quel'Thalas. Yes, you can have it. Absolutely. And a shout out to Nitrium on Dragonblight EU for being awesome. And my music's going to run out. Oh, God. Damn it. Give me my music back! Give it back, damn it! There you go. Fantastic. I think we're about done. We're about to move over to the video channel. I'm going to show you some DDO. Yes, indeed. I'm going to take you through the starting area and demonstrate the various aspects via the video. It's tinyurl.com/shoutcraft2 for the live viewers, and it will be in the show notes for those of you who are on the podcast. I'm going to put on a track, and I'm going to endeavor to set up all of the video and hopefully not break everything. If it does break, because Sam Broadcaster is a horrible program that tends to dislike anything else. It's very territorial. Indeed, I would go as far as to say that it pisses all over everything just to make sure that it marks that territory. So if Sam breaks, head over to the chat and the video will be on in a couple of minutes. That I can guarantee. I'm going to go out with a fantastic track. Yes, indeed. No doubt about that. I'm going to play some Ed Guy that I feel like it'd have been a ministry of saints. Sounds good to me. Here it comes. Thank you for listening to Blue Please. I shall see you over on the video. Good night.